Hey everybody, this is Dave coming to you from the Gaming Cave, and today we're going to continue our playthrough of Midway Solitaire Deluxe Edition from Decision Games. Okay, so when we left off after the first part of the first video, our next action is ready to start the next sequence of events, and we had Victory Spirit. So we put that in, and what does Victory Spirit mean? Well, a couple things that you have to check on Victory Spirit. First, we would total the number of U.S. Navy carriers, battleships in our eliminated or damaged unit displays. Well, we have one carrier in our damaged unit display. Okay, so you roll a d6, and it has to be less than that above total. So of course we can't roll less than a 1, so no effect there. Then we do the same thing for the Japanese. Again, they have one damaged unit, that battleship that I damaged. And so again, they have to roll less than that number, so nothing happens. So at the end of the day, this one didn't do anything, except we now, this marker will go into the permanently out of play spot, and the remaining segments of the Japanese phase are skipped, and we conduct all the U.S. Navy segments. So this is really nice. This is going to move up here to the U.S. Navy segment up here, and we jump right into GS1. Okay, reorganize the task force, create a task force, recruit reinforcements, replace a coastal defense unit. If a U.S. Navy task force is in the same space, and now it is, because last turn we moved Task Force 17, I can now replace my coastal defense unit here in the Solomons. So I now have defense there again. So they can't just mosey in there and take it over. All right. So that's GS1. Now we move to GS2. And GS2, intelligence actions. We can do a naval air search if I want to from my carrier. If I select a space within 2 spaces, 1, 2, well, there's nobody there that I want to go search. Nobody up there. Seaplane search, well, I have a seaplane down here, but again, I don't want to go search. And so we're going to do signals intelligence. And again, randomly pick one operations marker from the, so we'll know what's going to be going on the next turn. Where are they going to be coming after us at? All right. And it's going to be, the Aleutians. So we know the next turn they're going to be heading up towards the Aleutians. All right. So it gives us a heads up what's going on. All right. That's the end of G2. Now we go to G3, operations. So our operations, we can select. I can select one route and move. I can launch any in-range air support or anything like that. And so I have to decide now, you know, I have a P-40 up here. I could put him out there on the Aleutians and have him out there ready to fly combat air patrol whenever this group shows up. And I'm kind of thinking right now that's what I'm going to do. The other thing is I could send Task Force 11 up there and put him with Task Force 8, which has one destroyer group and a carrier group, and I could add a destroyer group, but I think I'm going to wait. I think I'll send that P-40 out here to the Aleutians and base them. I can base one squadron there at the Aleutians, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I have my one squadron out there of P-40s, and now we go to logistics. And so for logistics, again, I'm going to try to repair this aircraft carrier here, the Saratoga. Okay. So to repair the Saratoga over here, to repair that, it's a carrier, CV3. 1 to 3, no effect. 4 to 6, I get it repaired. Here we go. 6. Yes, the Saratoga is repaired. And I can put him out here at the West Coast now. All right. So that's a big one there. Because now I can start getting this task force ready. Task Force 11 already has a destroyer. If I can add another destroyer group to this task force, send them up there, I kind of got something to help in the Aleutians, and that's really what I want. Okay, that's the end of that sequence. We do the administrative phase. So like I said, this now goes into the Spirit Ops out of play. So it's completely out of play now. All right. Well, that brings us to the next phase. So every once in a while you get a quick phase like that. That's kind of nice. Now we move, and they're going to the Aleutians. So we know that's the segment. So they're going to start with the Aleutians and the Japanese segment, and we start with the search segment. Okay. So we determine if there's any U.S. task force within 3 spaces. There's not. 1, 2, 3. So there's nothing there. Okay. So we go into the movement segment. The movement segment's here, and now we have to move. We have 3 task forces that are going to move. We're going to start with the 2nd Carrier Strike Force, and we're going to roll a die, and it is a 1. So the Carrier Strike Force is only going to move 1 space. There he goes, right there. All right. The next one is the main body B. Okay, so we're going to roll this one, and it is a 2. Okay, so a 2 for the main body is also 1 space. So he's right there with the Carrier Task Force. Now we have the Invasion Task Force, and we're going to roll, and it is a 6. And a 6 is 2 spaces for the Invasion Task Force. So they actually got in front of the rest of the group. Okay, so that's their moves. Now we go into the U.S. Navy reaction segment. Here we can launch carrier base, not land, or launch naval fighters for CAP missions. I don't think I'm going to need to do that because the Carrier Task Force is 3 spaces away. So I'm not putting up my cap this turn for over there. Okay, for spotted U.S. Navy, so I'm not launching anything. So now we go into the Japanese Air Unit launch segment. There's no spotted task force. There is a U.S. base, but they're not close enough. And I forgot to do something. It's been a day. I forgot to do my see if something happened on that move. Oh, incident, submarine, and it's a 2. Okay, so we have the Invasion Task Force in the Aleutians, and they have a cruiser group. So it's a cruiser group, and I'll leave them upside down because they're not spotted yet, but we know what's there, and the other one's their transport units. So on this, got to go to my rule book for this one. They could really help this game out with just a couple of player aids to help with all these little things. Okay, submarine. So first thing we have to do, because it is a, let's see, perform anti-submarine warfare for each light carrier and destroyer. So they don't get to do that. Okay, so now we're at submarine attacks 1 naval unit. Roll 1d6, it's the invasion force. Okay, so we're gonna roll a d6 for my submarine attack, and I have to roll, this one's the better one for me, it's a 2. So if I roll a 1 or a 2, I get the hit. Okay, here we go. A 1 or a 2? 2! Hit them again. My submarines are banging them out, man. Okay, so I got the hit. Now I got to determine which one of these do I want. So I'm going to roll, there's 2 ships here. We're going to roll a 1, 2, 3, it's the cruisers. 4, 5, 6, it's the transports. Okay, so we're going to roll. We're going to take it this way. And it is 6, transports. So we hit the transports. All right, so now we look at the U.S. Navy units hit table. On transports, a 1 is a no effect, 2 or 3 damaged, 4 to 6 sunk. Here we go. Need a 4 to 6. And I got a 5. Bingo. All right, so we sunk the transports in that task force. So those transports go to the eliminated units right there. All right, great. The submarines helped me out. Okay, air launch segment for the Japanese. Oh, and they become spotted when we did that. The submarine always spots them. Okay, for each task force resolve, so we're not going to have, there are 3, 1, 2, 3 away. They haven't spotted anything. Let's see. For spotted Navy task force or U.S. Navy determined missions, available units will fly. Oh, wait a minute. I may have messed up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second carrier task force. I got to see which carriers are in there. The Shokaku, the Ryujo, and another ship. Shokaku, Ryujo. Okay, so we're over here. So he has a zeros are 4. The bombers are only 3. 1, 2, 3. They wouldn't attack, and they wouldn't send their zeros over there to do anything. Okay. So nothing going on there. No mutual combat. No mutual return. The morale, nothing. Let's see, for each battleship eliminated, he hasn't been eliminated, he's in the damage unit. So we don't do a morale check. Okay. It takes us to the logistics segment. And in the logistics, it's only good for land aircraft, air units, and carrier units only. So we don't have any of those. Okay. So now we go back to GS1 again. GS1. Repair damaged naval units, repair damaged naval aircraft, repair damaged land aircraft, repair damaged land unit. Okay. So for my logistics, I'm going to try to repair the P-39s down here at Port Moresby, right here. So land aircraft, I need a 1 or 2's no effect, a 3 to 6, they repair them. Go. 4. So we repaired them this time. Okay, so the P-39s are back to full strength here at Port Moresby. That's good. Getting my planes back together. Oh, you know what I just did? I did that backwards. I'll leave it. It's my 4th step, logistics. Okay? But I should have started with GS1. I knew something felt weird about that. Okay, reorganize task force, create task force, recruit reinforcements. Select 1 unit in the reinforcements display. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select this destroyer group right here. We're going to put them in the west coast here with the Saratoga. That's going to allow me to put that task force together if I want to. Now we go to G2 intelligence. Naval air search. Don't have anybody that I'm going to do that on. So we're going to do signals again. And we're going to randomly pick the operations again. Because it gives me that heads up. And right now, I kind of want to know what they're doing. And Midway this time. Okay, so the next move, they're going to start moving out towards Midway. It's going to take them a couple moves to get there, so I got a little time still. So I don't have to hurry there. Okay, now we go to G3. So in G3, we can move, and I'm going to move Task Force 16 towards Midway. Now, Task Force 16 has the Hornet and the Enterprise. He's got a destroyer group. What else is in there? 2 destroyer groups and a cruiser group. Okay, so they can move 1, 2, but they also have Admiral Spruance, so they get 1 more move. It puts them here. So now you're in range of Midway. So I got my guys where I want them to be. So we're getting in, trying to get set up here to hit the Japanese. And we already did our logistics segment 4, so it puts us at the administrative phase. This counter comes out, we flip it upside down, we put it in the already played, and that's the end of that one. Okay. All right, so now we go back. And we start again. This time we're at Midway. They don't have anybody to search, so we don't have to do that. So now we go to movement. So we got the first carrier strike force. So we're going to roll. Let's see what we get on this one. This is a 5. This one's moving 2 spaces. Okay, so here they come. They're coming out of Kyushu. 1, 2. All right. Next up, main body A. So let's roll main body A. We get, it's a 1, which means main body A is only going to move 1 space. Okay, next up is the guard. It's going to be the guard task force. And they get a 5. And a guard task force is in this middle one, and a 5 is 2 spaces. So they stay up with the carrier force right there. Okay, one more. It's the invasion force. So let's see what they get. And they get a 1. And a 1 is going to be 1 space for the invasion force. So they're there with the main body. Okay, so we got 2 significant groups moving out. Now we get a chance, that was our movement, we get a chance for our reaction, but there isn't going to be any because they're still far enough away that I'm not messing with them. Okay. It's something I want to explain that I did up here. I just thought about it. When you're moving from this main to here, you get to go double your movement. So this P40's movement is 2. So he could actually go 4 spaces. So when I moved him up here, it's 1, 2, 3. He had the range to be able to fly from Alaska there to the Aleutians. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. All right, now we go to the IGN air launch segment. Well, they're not close enough here to launch anything, so we don't have anything going on there. Mutual combat, mutual return. There is no morale to do, no logistics to do. So we haven't got into any heavy combats yet. So we're not getting into having to do a bunch of these steps. So now we go back to GS1. All right. This time we're going to start with GS1 the way we're supposed to. Reorganize a task force, create a task force, recruit reinforcements, replace, replace, replace. Okay. Now I'm looking, because I'm looking ahead because I want to see, I think in G3 operations, I can move any and all U.S. Navy task force and or independent naval units using the U.S. Naval Movement Rule. 8.1.1. Let's just make sure I'm not thinking of something weird here. But on 8.1.1, yeah. So when they move, U.S. movement, at your option, you move U.S. by conducting G3. If they have a battleship, they can only move one space. Otherwise, they move 2 spaces, and they can enter a home base from plotting spaces, movement from an adjacent plotting space, yep, yada yada. Any or all U.S. naval units in a home base can move to an adjacent home base by expending all movement for the current segment and cease their movement. Yeah, okay. So exactly what I was thinking. So I'm back here at G2, and I can do reinforcements. Or, sorry, I'm at G1. I can do reinforcements, create a new task force, reorganize the task force. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to recruit reinforcements, and I'm going to take no, I'm going to leave him there. I'm going to take this P40 group and put them in Pearl Harbor. So they're there waiting for wherever they need to go. All right, so I have them, they're active now. All right. Now we go G2, intelligence. Again, I don't have anybody to spot. 1, 2, 3. Well, they're out there, but I don't have anybody that could attack them. So we're just going to leave that one alone. And we're going to do our signals intelligence again and see where these guys are going to be coming next turn. I love these code breakers. And we got Moresby. Okay, so we're going to have something going on Port Moresby on the next turn. This is down here, so it's going to get active up there. All right, now we're going to go to G3 operations. So on my G3 operations, I have to decide what to do here. I think I can move again. I'm going to move all of these ships, this task force, everybody here at the West Coast, and they're all moving up here to Alaska. So I got 2 task forces up there, plus these individual ships, the Saratoga and a destroyer group. So they're all up there together. That's going to provide me what I need for the Aleutians up there now. So I'm going to defend the Aleutians up there. And we go to G4, and for G4, we can repair damaged naval units, repair, repair, and repair. So I don't have anybody damaged. And don't have any other land units or anybody else damaged. So I have nothing to do for G4. We go into administration phase. They're not spotted anymore, so we flip that back over. This comes out and goes in there. And I forgot to do one thing. When that naval group moved, they should have pulled a chit to see if they get into any trouble here. Okay. We have, what is it? Oh, submarine. Okay. So I got to do my submarine thing with these guys. So I moved that Task Force 11, the carrier, and the destroyer. So I'm going to get a chance to roll to thwart this mess. So for each carrier and destroyer unit in the task force, roll 1d6. All right. A 1 to 2 means the submarine's aborted. All right. So we're going to roll. I had Task Force 11 has a destroyer, so we'll let them roll. A 6. No effect. I have a carrier, the Saratoga. He gets a 3. No effect. And then I had another destroyer group. He rolls 4. No. Okay, so the Japanese got through. All right. Now they roll, but they have to roll a 1 to hit one of these ships. And they rolled a 5. So no hits. Okay, so we avoided the Japanese submarine. All right. Glad I remembered that. Don't want to forget to do that. That's kind of one of those steps you always got to remember that you're doing there. All right. And that was the end of that phase. Nobody's spotted on the board now. And so that's going to set us up for Port Moresby. So we're going to run one more segment here, and then that'll be the end of this sequence for today. So we got Port Moresby, and he goes into the search box. Okay. So determine if an unspotted U.S. Navy task force for Port Moresby, no. 1, 2, 3. They're not within 3. Is within the IJN base. 1, 2, 3. No. Within the task force, no. Carrier task force, there isn't one in this one. All other one space, so nothing. So they do not do the search. Okay. The Japanese movement segment. Consult the movement table and roll for each task force. So again, down here, we have the covering force and the invasion force. So let's roll for the covering force first. So the covering force rolls a 3. And a 3 for the covering force is 2 spaces. So here he comes. 1, 2. So he's right here. Now we roll for the invasion force. Now it's starting to get interesting. It's a 6. And the invasion force also moves 2 spaces. 1, 2. And they are outside of that defensive zone there. So I believe I'm going to get a chance to spot them. Okay, so they did movement. Now we have U.S. Navy reaction. My reaction is I'm going to launch my fighter and put him on cap right there. He's the only fighter that I have available to do that with. But I have him up on combat air patrol. I don't have any carriers down there that can do any attacking on those guys. That was my, now we do Japanese air unit launch segment. For spotted task force, no, but for Navy bases, they're going to put up some aircraft. So we have to look in the covering force. Does he have a carrier in there? He does, the Junyo. Okay, so the Junyo is going to put up his aircraft. So the Junyo is here. So he has a A6M0 and a Val dive bomber. All right. And of course, we're going to get the land-based aircraft, which is these guys. So we have the G4M Betty. We have a fighter. We have a fighter. And we have another G3M. Okay. So they're all up. So then now, we have to roll a d6 for each one of these to see what they're going to do. All right. So we've got to roll for the bombers first. We start with the G3M. And for this case, there's no task force for it to attack, so it'll all be against the objective. And this is a land-based bomber. A 1 or 2 is a no launch. He gets a 2. All right, so the G3M does not come out. Now we have the G4M. He's attacking, or maybe. He gets a 3, so he will come to the objective. I'm moving him over to the objective right now. And then we have the naval bomber, and he is a 1, is a no launch. 6. He's attacking the objective also. Okay. So he goes here. So I got 2 bomber groups coming. Now we got to do our fighters. Okay, for the naval fighter, we'll start with him. A 1 through 4 is a cap. 4. So he stayed over his task force. Covering task force. I didn't check that invasion to make sure. So we'll leave him there. All right. Now we have land-based fighters. A 1 or 2, they are cap. Otherwise, they're escort, or a 6 is an intruder roll. So here we'll roll for this first, the A6M zeros, and they got a 1. Thank goodness, they're cap. So they stay back over their base. Now for the A5M Claude, he comes on a 3. He is escort. So they do have an escort flying with their bombers. All right. So we're all set up. That's all the rolls we had to do there. So now we're going to get ready to go to the combat table. So we're going to move into the mutual combat segment. Now that invasion force moved, and I did not do what I was supposed to do. Oh, here we go. I got to check them to see if anything weird is going to happen here. And we got calm seas, which means no effect. So that's good. I didn't have to take back anything I did. All right, here we go. Whew. Mutual combat. So the first thing we do is move everybody over to the combat table. So my P40 or P39's on cap. He has a cap with that A5M, and the Junio is coming onto the objective. We'll put our battle marker here like we're supposed to. And the G4M is coming towards the objective. Okay. So similar to what we had before, but because I only have the 1 fighter group, I'm sending them guys in against those G4Ms. Okay, I need to hit them. I need to get a hit on them. All right. So we do air to air first. I need a 2 or less, which isn't very good. 2 or less. I got a 4, no damage. And he fires back with his defense fire. It's a 1. He gets, a 2. That was close. Okay, so no damage from the air to air. Now we go anti-air step. Fire all ground and naval units. So I don't have any, but I do have a ground unit, and he fires 3, and he fires at all 3 aircraft. So, oh no, wait a minute. He gets to do his combat air patrol against mine. So he has a 2, he needs a 2 or less. 4, he missed. Okay, now we do anti-air. I have my coastal defense is a 3. So he's rolling against, he'll go against the dive bombers first. He needs a 1, 2, or 3. 6, nothing. He's going against the bombers, the big bombers. He gets a 4, and he goes against the fighters up there. 6, nothing. So I didn't do any good there. I don't have any air naval step, so now we do air to ground step. Okay, so now here come the bombers. Okay, the dive bomber. He needs a 1 or 2 to hit. And he gets 5, nothing. Now the bombers, they are a 1 to 4. Ugh. 5, yeah baby, all right. No damage. Woo, we avoided that. Okay, everything mutual return, everybody goes back. So the ground units all go back to their airfields. The P-40 goes back, battle marker comes off, bomber goes back, and now the Juno sends their carrier planes go back and land. Okay. All right. Nice. So far. Whew. Okay. So from there, we now go to morale, which we know isn't, and logistics. There aren't any. So now it becomes the U.S. G1. So G1, okay, we're going to reorganize our task force up here. So we're going to take we have 2 task forces, 11 and 8, and some individual ships, and we're going to put them in. I can have 4 ships altogether. So in Task Force 8, I have a destroyer and a cruiser, and I'm adding the Saratoga and this destroyer group. And you know what? I couldn't do Task Force 11 in there because he'll just be by himself there. Okay, which is fine. I can operate him like that. So I have the large task force, and then I got the small destroyer. I may end up, if I get a chance, to bring him back. That was a mistake on my part. I didn't look to see what the maximum size of the task force could be. That's the G1 operations. Now we go to G2, intelligence. Now, I have a choice here. I can do searches. Naval air search. 1, 2, 3, because I have PBY there. I can do a seaplane. And on a 1 to, they're within 3 spaces. So if I roll a 1 to 4, I spot all those task forces. Or I can do signals intelligence, and all carrier strike forces. Oh, that don't help me any. Okay, so I'm going to use my seaplane, the PBY down here in Australia. He's right here. And 1, 2, 3, he's going to fly there and see if he can spot those 2 task forces. Okay, I need a 1 to 4 on my dive roll. So a 1 to 4, I spotted. I get a 2, excellent. So we spotted both the covering force and the invasion force. So we flip these 2 over, they're spotted now. So I can look at them. The invasion for Moresby has 2 transports and, a deception marker. So that comes out of there now. So it's not as strong as it looked. It only has transports there. And they have a covering force, which is a carrier, the Juno, and a destroyer group. Okay. So I have a chance here now. I can attack that carrier and see if I can put him down. That's what's coming up. So that's my G2, so we go to G3 operations. All right. I can do a naval operation, I can do land-based air operation. Well, I don't have a naval operation, so it's going to be land-based air operation. And we're going to do launch any land aircraft based at a home base or U.S. Navy controlled. That's all of these guys right here. So I can do, let me read this real quick, just so I make sure I get it right. I can launch any of mine. So I got my P-40, I've got this B-25, they're coming, he's flying escort, and I'm sending this B-17 and the Hudsons. They're all going there, and I got fighter escort cover going with them. Now, the Japanese launch Japanese land-based fighter units for CAP missions in any island base or controlled objective space. So he would fly there, but I'm not attacking that. And for each space containing both Japanese and U.S. Navy units, all surviving mission air units for each space containing both IJ and USN units, combat procedure, all surviving mission units redeploy, rebase. Okay, I do believe here though that I would roll using the procedure launch Navy fighter units assigned to the carrier. Yeah, he's got to put up his 0, would definitely come up here to fight. He wouldn't leave them, they would be on cap. Okay, so we're going to come down here and he's going to have the 0s on cap right there, and I'm going to have my P-39s on cap, or on escort actually, and then I have these bombers are coming in to attack the covering task force, which is the aircraft carrier. Now I could spread these guys out and let them go after each one, but I want that carrier and I want to sink him. So we're going to give it a go with everything's going after the carrier. Okay, so I've got them on here. We go to our combat sheet here and we do air to air. Okay, so we're going to have the Japanese they have a target priority chart, attack priority chart, in anti-air versus air. So he would pick, we're gonna, so it goes TBDs, which I don't have, torpedo bombers, my dive bombers, then he goes land aircraft bombers. So his fighter is gonna attack one of these 3. So we're gonna roll a 1-2, a 3-4, and a 5-6. I'll see which group he's attacking here. And he gets a 5. So it's after the Hudsons. So he's attacking the Hudsons right here. And so he's going to roll. He needs a 1 to 3 to hit. He got a 5. He did not hit him. And I get a defensive roll. If I get a 1, I hit him. Nope, 5. So they buzzed through, but that was it. Okay, my air-to-air, I have my P-39s are jumping him now. And I need a 1 or 2 to hit. Be nice to hit these guys. 4, no. So no air-to-air. Okay, anti-air step. So this is your naval units. So on the invasion force, you have 2 transports that can fire. So they need a 1 to hit. So they roll. Oh, there's 1 hit and a miss. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again. 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's my B-17 group. Took a hit. Dang it. That was big time. Bad. Okay, now for the covering force, they have a destroyer and a carrier. So each one of those are 2. So they're firing. The destroyers, he got a 6, he missed. And the carrier, he got a 3, he missed. Okay, so they didn't hit anybody else. All right. Now, the bombers are attacking the carrier. So he's coming in. I need a 1, and a 3. So here we go. I need a we'll start at the bottom. I need a 1. Hey, hit. So we hit the carrier. So we know that we hit the carrier, and on he's a CVL, a 1 to 3, no effect. Nope, wrong one. 1 to 2 damaged, 3 to 6 sunk. 5, they sunk the carrier. Oh, that was big. Now there's a destroyer unit, we're attacking it. This is with the B-17s, they need a 1, 2, and the B-25s, they need a 1, 2, or 3. 3, they hit the destroyer group. So for the destroyers, a 1's a no effect, 2 to 4 is damaged. 1, no effect. Dang it. Okay. That's the end of the combat. All right. So now, that was our mutual combat. Everybody returns back to the bases. So he goes back to his ship, Junio, which is sunk, which means those aircraft are lost because he doesn't have anybody else. But the fighter can go to the land base and they can hold 5. They have 4 there, so he's now at the land base there in Rabaul. Okay. So I got rid of 1 ship out of there anyway. P-39s were at Moresby, and the B-25s were at Moresby. The Hudsons, I could land there, but I'm going to bring them back to Australia along with these guys, okay, that are damaged. All right. G4 we go to now. And our G4, repair damaged naval units. Don't have any naval units damaged. Repair damaged naval aircraft. Nope. Repair damaged land aircraft. So I've got one of those, my B-17 group. So we can roll for that. That's over here. A land aircraft unit. 1 to 2, no effect. 3 to 6, they're fixed. 2, nope, couldn't fix them. Okay. administration phase, this comes off the board. Anybody that was spotted is no longer spotted. So we flip them over, and that's it. Okay. All right. That's going to be it for today. We knocked off a few more turns there, a few more rounds. You can see how that intelligence helps you kind of get your ships moving in the right way. But this time, I don't know what the attack's going to be or where the movement's going to come from the Japanese. So now we have to wait and see what's going to happen. I did inflict some damage on them that time. Did get rid of a carrier and got rid of with it when his dive bombers that were on deck. So we got rid of those. His fighters did go back to Rabaul though and land. Okay, that's the end of this one. Hope you're enjoying it. I am. It's fun. It's not a overly hard game, but there is some, you know, you feel the tenseness, you know, when's Midway gonna hit? And that's a big group there, you know, and so we're just kind of waiting to see what happens next. All right, well, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And if you like the video, please give me that thumbs up. It does help. And I'll see you guys for the next one. Have a good one.